Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Marc. I'm a personal trainer and sports scientist, and this series is a free workout and diet series, meaning I will teach you how you can create a diet plan and a workout plan for yourself. So the first video in this series was yesterday. If you haven't seen it, click over here. It is where you get the calorie calculator, how to use it, and how to set up MyFitnessPal. Now, as promised, in today's video, we're going to be talking about more specific the diet side of things, meaning, so what kind of food should you be eating? Then I'm going to show you how you're going to put that into your MyFitnessPal account or app. And the next thing we're going to be talking about is meal timing. Should you do intermittent fasting, or should you just do a normal 3 or 6 meals a day sort of approach? We'll talk about that in more detail. And at the end of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about supplements, if you should be taking them or not. Yeah, then we're going to wrap things up and we'll see how we go. So let's do it. Right, so this is the calorie calculator, which you've downloaded probably right now. Either you've bought it or you got it for free, depending on when you're joining this challenge. And these are the stats which I had yesterday. And here you go, someone just purchased it, which is great. Click on MyFitnessPal, it opens here, and then you can see I populated it with the 2,461 calories, which is the same amount in my calorie calculator. But I showed you yesterday how to do this. So same thing here on the iPhone, you can see it's the same amount. So these two are synced together. So what else will you need? You will need a scale. For example, this is the Joseph scale. You know, you just put it on the table and you can weigh your stuff, because that's going to be important when you put in your food into the diary, because it's obviously based on the amount you're taking in, and then the app will actually calculate your macronutrients and so on and so forth. All right, it's time to get a bit fancy. I'm going to be using the GoPro here so you can see my actions and how we're going to be using the actual MyFitnessPal app. Ready? Here we go. We'll switch. Right, so all you do is, let's say you want to put in a banana into your MyFitnessPal app. So you open the app on the iPad, for example. It's just better because it's bigger. It doesn't matter. You can also use it on your iPhone. We first need to find the banana. So what we do is we go to Add to Diary. And these meals here, as you can see them here, like I put in pre-workout in the morning, lunch, and so on. This is something you can define yourself. I think for you guys at the moment, if you haven't changed anything, it says breakfast. So let's say I have a banana for breakfast. Now in the search bar, you can just type in banana, click search. Loads of banana examples, but we'll just take banana raw, 2 ounces. Now the thing is, we have no idea so far. If I now press enter, this calorie amount, like 90 calories for this banana, might not be right. So what you need to do is you will go to serving size and we'll go to 1 gram. And now comes the thing is, you will need a scale. If I now put the banana on top, it will tell you it's 171 grams. So I would have to put it in here. But obviously we're not eating the, the skin of the banana. So what you do is you basically, simple as that. You just put in, you take the banana on top. So how much is it right now? It's 98 grams of banana if I would be eating that. So what do? You go to the serving size gram, type in 98, enter, and now it calculated your calories for the banana. Pressing enter. Now at the top you'll see my goal calories for the day, 2,461, and it subtracts the 74 calories of the banana, so remaining is 2,387, which is great. And when you now scroll down to the bottom, it gives you sort of your macronutrient split is here, carbs, fat, protein, sugar, fiber. And then you've got it, when you go to the home button, it gives you like a little diagram here. As of now, I just put in the banana. That's why the carbs are very high, as 93%. But as I showed you earlier, you will have set your macronutrient split to 20% fat, to something like I've got 35% protein and 45% carbs. So you want to make sure that you hit that every time you put stuff into MyFitnessPal. Now I want to show you something really cool with MyFitnessPal, and that is, let's say you want to put in something which has a barcode right here. This app really does make it very easy. So all you do is you go to plus at the bottom, you want to put in a new food, maybe again in the mornings you're eating it. And now here at the top, if you can see it, there's this barcode, and if you click on it, it opens your camera. Now you can hold the food you want to be scanning, and you just hold it over the barcode, and you will see it starts searching, and it found this milk. It says haltbare fettarme Milch, 1.5% fat, which is great. Now, one thing I want you to then do is, it says serving size 100 milliliters, and that's something you can then cross-check on the back. So here we have 100 milliliters is 1.5 grams of fat, which is right. Carbs, it says 4.9 here and 5.1 on the box, which is not right. And then we've got protein, which is 3.4, and this is 3.5. So whoever put this thing into MyFitnessPal wasn't really accurate with the amount of carbs and fats. So you could put this in now yourself, find a better match. So you could do that, and then you can search for it by yourself. You can type it in and then it will find something. But for now, we're going to be like, it's okay. It's like 0.2 grams of carbs and 0.1 gram of discrepancy of protein, which isn't a big deal. So all you're then going to do is you're going to say, okay. But again, it's 100 milliliters. So what you would need to do is you would put your cup on here. You would then put the milk inside until you have 100 milliliters. And then you can see now my overall food is 221 calories so far. And then we can go here, press sync, and it already synced it up. And you can see that my diagram changed. And if I go to food diary here, you'll see I've got the banana in there and I've got my milk in here. Now that's all you need to know. This is how it works. You can use it with every sort of product which has a barcode. You can scan it or you can type it in and do it yourself. You can create meals which you're eating on a daily basis. So you can also create meals. So add to diary, you can add something in bulk. For example, at the bottom, these double dots, when you click on them, now you can say, you can sort of take more products at once and say add 5. So it adds 5 in one go. It makes it easier. It's quicker for you to add your food in. And if you're like me, you're probably eating the same amount or the same foods in the morning and at nighttime. One other thing I want you to look out for is that here at the top it says exercise. So if your phone is set to, measuring your steps and stuff, it will add it automatically onto here and your calorie target in the day will increase. And you're like, oh great, I can eat more. But the whole point is that the calorie calculator I gave you put already your activity level inside. So this will then add up on top, so you will end up eating more. So you need to make sure that you switch that off. The way you do that is by going to more, and then you've got something called steps. You click on that, and here you'll see a couple of options. So most of the time it's set to the iPhone one, but make sure it's set to the do not track your steps. That's something you definitely need to make sure to deactivate your steps. So as of now, you should know how many calories you eat. You've got your macronutrient split set. You all transferred it over to your MyFitnessPal account. And now you also know how to populate your MyFitnessPal account. Great. So now we're sort of set to actually get rolling and talk a little bit more about diet. So first of all, what I want to say is that I've created a series talking about this in depth. And if you haven't seen it, click over here. It's my dieting series. It's 4 videos. You can watch them additionally to this one. I'm going to try to wrap it up in this video, but if you want more, I've already created videos, so I don't see the point in talking over and over again the same stuff. So just click over there, watch those videos. They're very educational and they will help you along the way. So let's talk about the kind of foods you should be eating. And we're going to look at protein, carbs, and fats. Now, I also have a video for that, which educates you on all of that in specifically, so what kind of fats and so on and so forth. It's like a little learning video. Watch that as well. But generally speaking, when we talk about meat, make sure it's lean meat, like lean beef, lean chicken, lean turkey, stuff like that. When you eat fish, make sure that it is, fish is high in fat, but it's omega-3 fat, so that's a good thing. But just be aware that when you pork down fish, there's most of the time fat involved. Especially when it's something like salmon. When you eat, let's say, tuna, it's better because it has less fat or nearly no fat. But in terms of fish at the moment, you've got all the mercury stuff going on and so on. So I'm not eating that much fish, but it's up to you at the end of the day. And soya products, because of all the estrogen and on hormonal imbalances it causes, I would just leave the fingers away from soya. So next thing I want to cover is fats. So healthy fats are, for example, your olive oils, your coconut oils, your avocados, stuff like that, nuts and seeds. They're all healthy fats, and these are fats you will need. So the 20% of your diet should be made up of these kind of fats. So for example, when you make your food, and you will see me prepare food later on or throughout this whole series, so I, for example, use coconut oil for cooking, just like half a teaspoon or something, and then I fry my chicken breast, for example, in that. The good thing about coconut oil is it's a mid-chain triglyceride. You can also use it straight away as energy. Your body doesn't have a hard time breaking it up, and you can heat it up quite high and cook with it, which is a great thing. Okay, last thing, let's talk about carbs. Carbs in general, make sure less processed the better. So, you know, I always say if it is something which doesn't have a food label, like a banana, for example, or an apple, these are fast-acting carbs, but they're good because they've got all the fiber and the vitamins and stuff inside. And in terms of the, you know, more complex carbs, go with brown rice, go with quinoa. You know, if you like bread, then full corn bread, make sure it's, you know, freshly baked, not the ones from, you know, in the package, which are, you know, you can eat like 10 decades or something. Yeah, that's sort of it. Don't get the noodle stuff and all that, you know, more processed sort of carbs, because your body has a harder time breaking them up. And there's something you will need to experiment also, what kind of foods you react to well or not. That's it in a nutshell in terms of what kind of foods I would be eating. Okay, so let's talk about meal timing. Now, meal timing just means when are you going to be eating your meals? And there are various protocols out there, from intermittent fasting to 3 meals a day, 6 meals a day. What is best? Now, I made a video, click over here if you haven't seen it. It explains that in great detail and gives you some, you know, backing signs, which one is better or not. Generally speaking, it doesn't matter if you eat your whole calorie allowance in 1 meal a day or 20 meals a day. If you eat it in the mornings or at nighttime, it doesn't freaking matter. The most important thing is that you stay in your calorie target. That is number one. Then number two is the macronutrient split, you know, fats, carbs, protein, that is right. And then when you've got all that figured out, then is the meal timing, you know, when that's more important. For example, when you're an athlete and you train twice a day, then you need to make sure that your meals are, you know, set around your workouts and stuff. But it also doesn't have to be that way. I know a lot of athletes who do fasted training, fasted sprints and stuff like that. So it is preference again. I'm going to talk about 2 options you can choose from, and it's really up to you. Either you do intermittent fasting, or you do, let's say, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 meals a day. And, you know, if you stay in your calorie allowance for both of these meal timing options, you will get your result. But it's just preference in a way. Some people like the fasting idea, some people don't. So fasting in a nutshell just means you've got a fasting window where you don't eat and a feeding window where you eat. How would that work? Well, you mostly do start your fast overnight, so you've got a long period of sleep which covers most of the time of your fasting window. Then you skip breakfast, for example, and then at 12 or 1 or 2 o'clock you start eating again. And then you've got your 8-hour or 6-hour or 4-hour or 2-hour window where you're going to be eating your meals. And there are lots of benefits of you know, intermittent fasting, but we're just going to skip them for today, because otherwise this video is going to be endless. And the second option is you can eat 3 meals or 4 or 5 meals a day around your workout, or, you know, you need your breakfast because you're starving otherwise, and you feel like you can't get up and you don't have the energy. Absolutely fine. That works very well. I've done that many times with my clients as well. But you guys have to really make sure you stay on track with your MyFitnessPal and calories, because when you're fasting, the good thing about fasting in that sense is you've got a calorie allowance, let's say, of 2,000 calories. And if you skip breakfast and you just have, let's say, a banana at lunch, then you have like 1,500 or 1,600 calories for a big meal at night. And you don't have to really worry that you're going to be overeating. Whereas if you do the 3 or 6 or 7 meals a day, then you really have to calculate and make sure that you don't go over. Because if you have a big breakfast, big lunch, guess what? Shit, I ate a banana, I might have a piece of chocolate, oh my god, and then, you know, you're over. So make sure you stay on track with everything you eat and enters this mouth and your mouth, right? I'm not trying to scare you, but that is a more difficult way of doing it. That's why I myself prefer the fasting method, but it's just, again, it's preference. It's not necessary. Right, so it doesn't really matter if you take the intermittent fasting option or if you do the 3, 6, 20 meals a day option. It is preference at the end of the day. But make sure you track everything and stay within your calorie allowance. That is crucial for both options. You need to make sure that the calories are calculated, you stay within that. And also your macronutrient split, so your fats, carbs, and proteins, they also have to be on point. And then the actual meal timing, then that will become interesting. But, you know, there is no such thing as someone saying, well, I'm doing intermittent fasting, that's why I'm losing weight. Well, that's bullshit, because the intermittent fasting, if you overeat, you will not lose weight. Okay, so that just to clear that out quickly. Right, so let's talk about Supplements. Right, welcome everyone. So we're in my room and I've got the supplements I take. They're here and I'm just going to run through them step by step and then I'm going to tell you which ones you should be taking or not. And the first thing I want to say is you don't need to take any supplements in order to get the result you're looking for. They are called supplements because they supplement your diet. So if your diet is on point, you eat the right amount of carbs, proteins and fats, you should get enough, creatine and vitamins and minerals and all that stuff you need to be able to build a great physique. Now, there's this belief in the supplement industry out there which will tell you, well, you need to take all this stuff to get better results. That isn't true. There are some supplements which do help increase performance and all that stuff, which I'm going to be talking about now. But just bear in mind, it isn't necessary. So the first thing I want you to consider taking is a multivitamin tablet. I use Development Sports. It's one a day. It's a multivitamin just because you've got a lot of minerals and micronutrients which you will not be able to get from your diet every single day. So just to be on the safe side, I always recommend to take, a multivitamin. The next thing I recommend taking is a fish oil tablet, just because omega-3 fatty acids are really important in your body and system. They're involved in your carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism. They're sort of, they're in every cell. The cell membranes are made of these omega-3 fatty acids and so on and so forth. And most of the time we're deficient in omega-3. We've got enough omega-6 and 9 in our, Western diet. And we need to make sure that we counteract that. But eating fish is not an option for everyone, and sometimes it's it's too much of fish fat you will need to eat to get the actual real amount of EPA and DHA which you will get in these tablets. So what I would do is I would take 3 of those in the morning and 3 at nighttime. They also aid in weight loss. I see a massive difference in myself when I take these tablets on my weight loss journeys. They just increase my performance and inflammation as well. So if you feel like you've got some joint aches and stuff, this stuff really helps a lot. So if you're not living in an area where the sun shines a lot, your body will be deficient in something called vitamin D3. And that is very important because it's also, it's involved in so many little processes in the body which also help to, aid weight loss and overall performance. So make sure that you take that as well if you want to. And the last supplement I want to talk about is creatine, but I made a video on that specifically, so click over here and check that out. It is a supplement which is the most researched supplement on the planet, and it definitely has performance enhancing abilities. So yes, I would recommend to take that. But now one side note here, if you are younger, if you are in the age range up to 16, 17 years old, you don't have to take any of these. Okay, these ones are for people who are already grown up, more or less, let's say 18 years old, and you can make your own decisions if this is something viable or not. But if your mom or dad says to you, you shouldn't be taking it, listen to them and listen to me. You will not need it to get your result. It is just something which aids your result. But, I've done it with my clients with and without, and both will get results. Right, so this is, I think, everything you need to know about diet, and you should be set in order to start. But, there are loads of videos I linked here in this video, which, go in more depth into all of these, topics we were talking about today. So feel free to check them out and learn about your diet, because that is the most important thing when it comes to your fitness journey in terms of losing weight or gaining muscle. Tomorrow we will discuss how to track your progress in terms of how to take your body fat measurement and how often you should weigh yourself and stuff like that. Okay guys, so if you like this video, punch the like button, punch the subscribe button. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I wanted to work out with my followers, with you behind the camera. I wanted to give you something that you can do at the same time I'm doing it, and I think that's freaking awesome. So this series is the start of me teaching you every single step on the way until you're at the point where you've got your own